Good evening, November Foxtrot.
What? Yo!
What is up?
How's it going?
How's it going?
All right. Good.
Sweet.
That's better.
It's a nice, comfortable
move.
temperature in the loft now.
Oh, I put the heating on this morning when I got back from work.
As opposed to previous thingies.
It's going well so far. High rage.
Previous hot days in the loft. No, stop.
Hot days. Hot boxing.
Hot days. Flowery carp. Get in.
I've got my big hydration.
How are you? Look, where are you at? You're late.
So I'm just having to double check. I don't know. We haven't got anybody from Facebook yet. I just want to make sure it's working.
No, I haven't.
I haven't had a notification come up on the old phone. On the old
it says it's.
Oh, now I have. Hey ho, how's it going?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
This is what you name this one.
We're there. Cool. Hi, Les. Hi, Kenny. Rage, get Andy showing off how rich he is by turning his heating on.
There's me with a fleece.
I'm wearing, to be fair, I've got t-shirt and shorts on, but I haven't got the heating on either, so I don't know what that says about me.
Absolute legend. Even James.
The beast.
Well, I was cold.
Hi, pricks.
Standing in cold water all day.
Hi, James. Hi, Harry. Hi, Terry. Just so everyone's aware, prizes are slowly on their way out.
Yes.
So I've been giving the information to some of the companies. Haven't got around to doing it all yet. There wasn't that many prizes, but it's quite a logistical issue in that we've got lots of prizes going out from different people.
Prize up, mate, so don't worry about it. It's in hand.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Hi, Dan. Dan and I are Facebook friends now.
Ooh.
Assuming I've got the right Dan. I think I have.
It could be any Dan.
If he hasn't replied yet, I'm guessing it's the wrong one.
Yeah. Who is this strange man messaging me?
Oh dear. How are you both doing? Good week?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Yes, mate, yes. Apart from, I have got a grumble. I have been stood down from work tomorrow night due to some certain strike action going on. So I'd like to thank everyone involved with the strike tomorrow night on TFL. Nice one. You just cost me a shift as a contractor who doesn't get paid for being stood down.
Yep.
Wankers. End of rant.
End of rant. That is over.
I should have put my angry pirate hat on for that rant. But I didn't.
Talking of which, do you want to jump straight into Pew's news?
Yes. Might as well. Yeah.
All right.
I take my gun and I go pew 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 pew.
News.
I'm very big, aren't I?
You are.
Yeah, I've got absolutely no news whatsoever this week. Aside from, I did get some coffee from my main man, Andy Bob from Texan. This stuff's awesome, mate.
Is it good?
The Black Rifle Coffee Company coffee bags.
I work with a bunch of children.
Yeah. You wait until we does
underneath my desk here. Got my paperwork ready to shuffle at the end. Yeah. Any news from you two?
I've got something, but I'll let Andy go first.
Yeah, I laid in my hammock with the dodgy whoopee slings, and I didn't end up on my arse. So
nice.
I didn't move. I just laid there.
Did you have a lot of confidence when you got in there though, or were you literally just
at first there was a lot of creaking and straining, and I was like, oh no.
Not from your knees and just you though, or was that?
That was like my back was clicking. So yeah, and it was fine. There was a few squeaky bum moments as I was getting in, and everything started like, when it all does that ping stretching sort of sound as it all settles in. You kind of go, "Oh, have I put on too much weight for this?"
What are they rated to the straps? Those little paracord straps.
I have to have a look.
Yeah, because fuck's sake.
Point at the parrot.
For those listening, Lance has worked out he's got some extra settings on his camera set up. So we've just had Channel 5 News, and now we've got him dressed as a pirate with a very large pirate hat on.
There's no need for it to be this big. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Right, let's turn this enough of that now. It's nonsense. Come on.
Ray says, "What the actual fuck have you done? It's like watching early Channel 5."
No, it's not that good, is it?
Hi, Matthew.
Yeah. It's literally because I had my phone flipped around the other way last week, and I thought the camera would be better from the main 19 cameras that you got on the back of an iPhone, however many there is. But I forgot. Obviously, this week I put it around the other normal way so I could see the actual screen. And there's like a little feature section. I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And I was like, "Oh, hello. There's things. There's different things."
So I've just had a quick look at the Whoopie Sling. It's made of a thing called Amstel.
Oh yes.
Lager. Yes.
Yeah.
Soaked in Amstel.
Which is an 8-strand single braided construction, and it's rated each sling is rated up to 125 kilograms. So what's that? That's
less than me.
How much is what? 85
Not much
kilograms.
less. 125.
each sling. Each sling.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh yeah. So I guess two of them.
would be 250
Yeah.
Is that how that
kg.
works?
Well, I would have thought so.
Yeah, it should
'cause
be,
you're spreading
like-
your weight.
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah. Fair play. Nice.
Look at us trying to do maths. Like, if you've got two and you add them together and then you divide them. Does that work?
Have we got the maths? Have we got?
No,
a
we haven't got a
maths
maths jingle.
screen?
Orders wasn't available for this, so.
Just have an overlay of a lance of just numbers and like.
You could have done it, but she was doing Pride of Britain at the time, so we couldn't quite get hold of her.
Hi, Frontline. Hi, Kenny. Kenny says, when you set them, Andy, run your fingers and thumb along the cord so it bites better, stops the cracking.
Oh,
That sound of that.
what? Like a little tease? Why do I have to turn? Why have to I turn it dirty every time?
I'm not saying anything because I got told off last time.
Stop
So what? Literally, just give them a quick pull, or I don't understand.
No,
Run your
I've-
fingers.
You just
say more of a-
seductively run your fingers across it.
more of a tickle and a bit of a jostle, I suppose.
Oh, I've
Jostle.
frozen.
Jostle. Can we say jostle? This is ridiculous. What are we talking about?
I don't
I've
know. It's the
frozen.
same old. Andy appears to have frozen.
I've
It's just-
frozen.
Andy's. I thought he was having a bit of a moment, if I'm honest. When I said jostle, he's like,
well, I've got some news.
oh, he's gone.
So,
He's gone.
you know, the sausage meaty sticks that we talked about in the past, I don't even know how to pronounce the brand, Tarshinsky, classic Cabanos. I found some big ones. Check those out. They are much bigger. They're almost like twice the thickness
Yeah.
of the other ones. So,
Could you hear me then?
Nope.
not very well, no.
No, not at all.
All right.
It's not a case of not very well. There was no voice.
It's going really well this week's episode so far. Big shout out to Flo from Wales.
Oh,
She got in
absolutely.
touch
Yes.
earlier in the week, so we bumped into her NAE, and she said that she'd been listening. So
Can you
hello.
still hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
but-
can.
I'm
Yes.
playing with stuff now. I think I had it on the wrong microphone.
No, that sounds like the wrong microphone.
Well, that one sounds like the wrong microphone.
That's what I just said.
This one. How's that? Is that better? Or is
That's
that
better.
really loud now?
No, it's fine.
Dan,
Just-
yes, they do slide through the hole in the camo net.
What
is
was this,
over
what
here
we're talking about now? Is this getting
Oh, I
filthy
love
again?
that meme. That meme was
Oh, that's
brilliant.
brilliant.
That had me in
Yeah.
tears.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, I was in tears.
Yeah, Frontline says, I believe the word for thickness is girth. Yeah, I just didn't want to use that word about sausage sticks.
Good.
Girthy
about the
sausage
girth.
sticks.
Kenny says, I picked up a pack of those Cabanos in Sainsbury's and the top of them was blue and hairy. Oh, no. That's not good.
That's all right. That's just seasoning. You'll be all right.
No. I mean, to be fair, you don't need to keep these in the fridge, so they're
Just eat
designed...
the top of it. Eat in the middle.
Apparently, you need to just keep between 2 and 25 degrees C, which is obviously quite good for a MilSim. You don't want to be carrying around stuff that you need to refrigerate because that'd be a nightmare.
Unless you had a
Yeah.
fridge, then you'd be all right.
Yeah. So another thing I wanted to talk about is the crap strap. It was a product, obviously, shown by Octo. I think it was Baz from Octo that highlighted that, and that it's been doing the rounds on some of the groups. What do you guys think about the crap strap?
I haven't seen it.
Have you not? I'll find you a picture.
I must have missed that.
It's a strap you put around a tree and lean against it, so you can have it's basically like having a shit floating in the air.
Yeah.
But in the visible toilet.
So a hammock pooper.
Basically a hammock pooper, yeah.
Yeah. So you just put a strap around a tree, lean back into it, squat down, and do a plop. Plop, 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 plop.
It's quite an interesting product to look at. First off, I would put it around a much bigger tree.
Yeah, I could see me failing
No,
with
see,
that.
that's fraught with danger because no. What happens if you slipped? Like from
Well, you'd have a nice soft landing, wouldn't you? Let's be fair.
No, but you wouldn't because your knackers would go straight into the tree.
Is there
No, I
think.
think.
Is there images of someone actually there chatting with that on?
Chatting.
Goes down. Go down. Who's that geezer
That-
there?
a video.
No, I think the guy's talking about it.
All right. What an awful camera angle if he was actually having...
Yeah.
Oh, mate, really?
It's an interesting idea, though. I mean,
But surely
it's
a
something
log
I've not
would
seen
do.
before. Yeah. But
I would be walking
Yeah.
past you, though, with a knife out and
It's-
just whacking a knife through the strap. I wouldn't be able to resist it. It'd be that devil on my shoulder. It'd be a parrot on my shoulder, just be like, yeah, go ahead, okay, go on.
I mean, the thing I thought was amusing was realistically, you always feel vulnerable having a bit of a piss or a poo in the woods anyway. But that makes it so much worse, doesn't it? If
You're
you're sort
fully
of
exposed,
suspended from some crap like hammock.
But then also as well, like I know this is going to sound really gross, but you've really got to be careful with splashback with that, haven't you? Because that's dropping from a height.
Yeah,
With only
you
your
definitely get
legs
the back of
really
your
there to
back of your ankles. And what if you have one that's like refusing to break off and you end up getting a bit of a pendulum effect, a bit of a swing on it? It could land in your trousers.
Or even worse, running, and you've
Or if-
ended
or
up
if
on a
there's a-
tree
if-
downhill.
Yeah.
Oh,
If
it's on my
there's a breeze up, What if
shoes.
it's windy? You're moving with the tree, and you've got old Hanky, the Christmas poo's underneath you doing the same thing. He'll end up like swinging up under your thigh or something and slapping you.
That would literally bring a whole new meaning to pissing in the wind, wouldn't it? Shitting in the
It
wind.
would be, yeah. Like a windsock.
Kenny says, "I'll cut it if I see that. A good use for medical scissors."
Yeah, I can see all sorts of nonsense happening there.
Oh dear.
Or if you're
Cool.
doing one under nods, if you've got the strap on, and you're doing it under nods,
Well, that's what it's called, isn't it? It's basically a strap-on. It's a strap.
yeah. And then what? Someone without nods walks through your strap, and then you end up in a tangled heap whilst mid poo. Try and explain that one to the ambulance when you're both carted off for injuries, covered in shit,
With a stick up your ass.
with a stick up your arse and your trousers around your ankles, both tied up to a tree, hog tied to an old pine tree.
Right. Shall we? So this evening we're going to be talking about Defiant's Red Tide 2 and RiftSim, as well as a bit of a general Q&A. Just sort of wrapping up the last few events, a bit of a debrief of those, because we had quite a lot of action going on right up until the 100th episode, and then the 100th episode happened. So we thought we'd talk about those and just have a bit of a catch up. So Lance, do you want to talk about Red Tide 2?
Yeah, all right.
I
I don't know what that was. Yeah, so Red Tide 2. Again, it's a Defiant event, so from the off, yeah, it was going to be a good one. I worked
Sorry,
Friday night.
hang on. I don't mean to interrupt, but Ray just literally just said, if you've got the strap on under nod, sounds like a line from the porn version of 13 Hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so thanks for spoiling it for me. That was for this weekend, Rage, but nope. I need to watch that now.
Right, sorry.
Where
carry
was
on.
I? Yeah, right. Yeah, so obviously I worked the Friday night, so I rocked up early hours of Saturday morning, back to the old stomping ground, Apocalypse Airsoft in Sittingbourne. A few changes to the site, which was good to see. Big John's been doing some building work up there around the village, making some improvements in the stockade and stuff. So that was cool. Yeah, wicked. Cartel, DEA, and they sort of like a spec ops sort of team embedded in the area as well, which is good. So there's sort of three factions, if you like. Well, the two cartels come together as one, the Del Golfo and the El Hatcher. Go on, the El Hatcher, lads. So they were like, we were all sort of like hunkered down in the village doing our cartelly type things. The DEA stationed up at the stockade. as their main sort of operating base, and then you had the Joint Task Force sort of team. They did have a name. I can't remember the name of them now. And they were stationed down in the safe zone, so there was no safe zone for the event. It was every single part of the site was in play, which made it good. Oh, headset's gone. So yeah, start of Saturday morning briefings, getting your kit squared away, ready for the off. After that, it was slow to start. GRS, good man, Dan, well done. Yeah, so the GRS was the third team, if you like. They were more like the special forces type thing, smash and grabbing and bits and bobs like that. So yeah, after the briefing, it was sort of game on. Slow to start, but the cartels doing our little civ pop sort of type stuff. A few little prods and pokes from the DEA, little visits here and there, and sort of getting to know the area, boots out on the ground sort of thing. And then we sort of started basically creating our produce, if you like, for want of a better word. Starting winning money from the amount of stuff that we created, and managed to create sales. And a good little feature that which I really liked Defiant added was that the more gear we sold, basically, and the more money we earned, we unlocked things throughout the weekend. So like to start with, it was just like single fire pistols, things like that. And then you've got once you've done a drop and it was a successful drop and the money we exchanged hands and that, we unlocked lots sort of like rifles and full automatic, and then we unlocked LMGs, and then we unlocked nods and bits and bobs like that. So it was a reason for us to be doing these setting up these labs and stuff like that out in the wilderness, and sort of trying to get these this produce made and sold on.
Idea. I like that.
So it was really good, yeah, because it wasn't just a case of, oh yeah, you're cartel, so you have to go and do this. You're not going to get anything out of it, but there was a reason for us to do it, so which was really cool. So you had like some of the cartel team out doing this, and the other part of the cartel team were out sort of diversions and things like that, keeping eyes on, watch out, lookouts and things like that. So that was cool. Everyone sort of got on board with it. The DEA sort of conducted themselves really well. You know, I had a couple of interviews and that, and sort of fed them a bit of bullshit at the same time, which was always good fun. Me and Mr. Kettles were out doing bits and bobs. And yeah, and just generally just a nice flowing event, really, from my perspective. Yeah, just again, it was a Defiant one. You know, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was nice for me to play a less involved part from a player's point of view. I was actually sort of planted into the El Hatcher to sort of stir up the shit a little bit, which I found quite difficult to do, because obviously I didn't know hardly anyone in the Del Golfo or the El Hatcher team. So I only had sort of Kettles and a couple of other bods from the Defiant event that I knew of. So it was a bit slow to get going, but basically the gist of it was for me to be sort of worm my way in there and sort of poo-poo the Del Golfo cartel, you know, sort of like feeding DEA information as to where they were located, so they got busted. And then when the El Hatcher team were out doing our bits, were making sure that we were completing our taskings and winning the money, making El Hatcher look really good, and essentially coming down to the crux of El Hatcher just overthrowing the Del Golfo, and they are now none and void. So yeah, El Hatcher all the way. So that was the main reason for me being there, was basically stirring up trouble. For
you look like you had fun with some of the promo footage and stuff, or pictures you took.
I did, mate. Yeah, no, it was good fun doing it. Yeah, because I was out, you know, I had my bandana on now and again of the Del Golfo one, and then I'd be El Hatcher to hand as well, depending on who I was trying to annoy. I think I got labelled as red t-shirt guy. Red t-shirt guy's back in the woods. What's that red t-shirt guy doing? But yeah, it was cool.
Can you
yeah,
still
it was
hear
nice.
me quickly?
Yes, mate,
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
So it was cool, yeah. I mean, like I said, the DEA guys conducted themselves well. There was no sort of like just like dropping someone as soon as you saw them. You know, I was out in the woods really like pushing my luck, going near their base and stuff, and I was just getting told to politely move on in the only way the DEA know how to do. You know, which was really good. It was actually quite refreshing, not just getting shot at and thinking, "No, what are you doing, man? I was just kneeling down here at the side of the road. You know, why have you done that? You know." So that was cool. Yeah, there was a much. The interactions were a lot better. I want to say more professional, but it was, you know what I mean? It was more refined sort of thing, I'd like to say.
Yeah.
And obviously after a while, that's when the sort of like the small sort of skirmishes started getting little contacts here and there. You know, a couple of shots were fired, and it made sort of people scram for cover. Then the rest started happening and things like that, and there were night raids going on, which was cool. But certainly from my point of view, the event as a whole, it was it was a blast. It was an absolute blast. It was really good. And obviously James and Kev, the way they conducted themselves, running from the DEA, but obviously keeping eyes on the rest of the forces, and how it was sort of like panning out. It was really good. Yeah, it was cool. Thoroughly enjoyed it. No complaints from my side. The rain. That's my complaint. But you can't blame Defiant for that. It rained. It rained like shit.
Well, I enjoyed the.
Not for all of it. We were lucky. Not for all of it.
I was gonna say I enjoyed the 3 hours that I was there, where I basically spent that time sitting under a tarp in the rain with you. So I think we walked up to the stockade at one point, and that was about it.
There was a bit when we first got set up. There was some awesome chestnuts. I mean, some of the biggest chestnuts, sweet chestnuts I've ever seen in my life. In the obviously at APOP. So I picked a massive bag of these chestnuts, and we had a little fire pit. We were allowed to have fires in the village because it's all villagey scene sort of thing. So we had a little fire going. We got some dead wood, some dead standing dry stuff, and that sort of logged it all up. Got it on the fire. Got a nice bed of coals on there. Found an old grill, like barbecue grill. Slit the chestnuts, chucked them on there. So I had them cooking up, and out sitting there eating these roasted chestnuts. And there's some guys there, and they need to sort of get out in the woods a bit more. And one bloke come past like, "Why are you eating conkers?" Like, they're sweet chestnuts, mate. No, they ain't conkers. They are. I was like, nah. All right, they are. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna argue with you.
You should have just said, "I'm a wild man."
Oh yeah. It was a DEA guy. That's all I'm going to say. It was a DEA guy because he was. They were searching our property, and the only things that weren't any words to come out of my mouth was, "Don't break my fence, man." That's all I kept on saying to him.
Where was this set? What
I don't
was
remember.
That?
It was supposed to be somewhere that they sound
Texas?
like that. Yeah, Canada. Texas and Canada. That's
Texas and Canada.
But yeah, it was brilliant. It was a really good event. There's some real funny moments in that. There was some nice serious bits to it. Creeping about at night time with the old thermal on. Once we'd unlocked them, that was good fun. My thermal strapped to the top of an MP5. Would you believe it?
Wow.
But that was quite. It was quite small and compact. I was just like, yeah, that was quite good. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, good fun. Yeah, it was a good event. Yeah, look forward to the next one. Good on you, Defiant.
Defiant are in the chat. So if anyone's got any questions for Defiant, by all means, ping them out. They said, "I'm pretty close to being a god, but I haven't yet perfected the art of controlling the weather." Disappointed, James. Disappointed.
Yeah. No, that's James. That's the sort of that's a James thing.
Yeah,
that's definitely a James comment.
James comment.
So, I mean, some of the things I saw. I mean, I say I wasn't there for very long, but obviously there was the guy that's like the suicide vest.
That was impressive. Yeah,
which was quite an impressive feat. That was about it, really. I didn't really see loads.
And that was the whole part of us. We had like the Del Golfer, the whole cartel went up to the DEA thing to sort of this display of defiance and sort of executing this dude. But then I sort of had a quiet word in Neil Hatcher boys' ears and just said, "Look, I want you guys to stand off, just so that they can clearly see that it's like the black bandanas that have done this, and we're sort of like we just sort of stood back. We were still there, but we were just sort of like unified as sort of one sort of body." Just sort of watching over it, which was quite cool. So we sort of like that was like our last sort of like feat, if you like, was to just be there as all one team, whilst the rest of them just get dealt with. So yeah, that was cool.
Cool.
I liked it.
Rage says to Defiant, when and where is Red Tide 3? Let us know, James. I don't know.
We want to know. Exclusives, mate.
Brandon says, was a pleasure helping you turn EH against DG. I think I was in zombie mode at 4 a.m. when we went to go and meet Mr. Kevin in the scrapyard.
Oh, Brandon, yeah, top man. Absolute lad. Yeah, no, I had a wicked team. Obviously, Brandon I'd not met before. It was Lucy who was with us, and then obviously Mr. Kettles, one of the founding members of the Punishers. It was nice to rock out with him again. Took our Dutch Army tents, so we had them sort of well docked together with a little porch area in the middle. That was nice. Yeah, a bit of docking. Bit of docking with the Dutch Army tent. That was always good. So yeah, nice and cosy.
Kevin says, love the way Lance engineered this.
Engineered this,
yes. Oh, yeah. We had a little 4 a.m. meeting at the Bartertown, which was referred to as at the event. Everyone was calling it Scrapyard, and I was like, "What the fuck, Scrapyard? It's Bartertown." No, it's Scrapyard. It's Bartertown. Yeah, of course it is. Bartertown, right?
I've always wanted to run an event at Apocalypse, which it actually has Bartertown as like some sort of like market area.
Exactly.
That'd be kind of cool. Like, get some like role players, like almost like a human trafficking type market, or like.
Whoa!
Bear with me.
That went downhill. That's the same as the bloody Searchlight.
No, because it's like Bartertown. It's like the Mad Max films. That's what I always.
Yeah, but even then they weren't bartering for people. It was diesel and bloody
they were doing. They were doing people as
well. No, they were not.
I'm pretty certain they were.
Maybe the one that you watched, they were.
That was Mad Maxim.
Mad Mike.
Defiant says there are lots of events they want to know when and where RT3. Sorry, there are lots of people that want to know when and where RT3 will be. For now, wait out. So there you go.
Ah, that's pathetic, James. I'm sorry.
No, I don't want a slave market rage. That wasn't what I was saying. Just it would be cool to have like a proper market rage.
We've done it again.
No, the idea I had was like a post-apocalyptic event where you've kind of got groups of people having to go there to trade things with each other, and there's like a bit of a distrust between them. So it's almost like a multiple cartel type game. I always thought it would be cool, but hey, yeah. Dan said, Lance, would you go? I'm just moving on quickly. Dan said, Lance, would you go as cartel if there's a third game?
Interesting question, Dan, and thank you for asking it. I may not have a say in the matter, bud. After this last event that's just finished, I'll leave it there for now. But I'd have a question. Actually, do you know, because it was my first time as sort of going as cartel, which I found quite easy to sort of do. Not as in like just like the play style or anything, but like the kit wise and that. I literally ordered myself a pair of jeans from M&M Direct, and a new red Under Armour t-shirt, which I needed for the gym anyhow. So got myself a red t-shirt, a pair of blue jeans, and that was it. I don't think I might have used a rig. I think once the entire weekend. Rest of it was just like concealed, like pistol in a backpack or something like that. It was real loosey goosey, nice and easy, just playing the part, as and when. And when you did get to go out and chuck a few rounds down, it made it all the more better rather than just going from the off, machine guns blazing. It was like, no, it was really well played out. I think everyone from the cartel point of view, played their part. Sort of, a lot of people. I was chomping at the bit to get into action and stuff like that, but you sort of waited and waited. And then, when it all did start kicking off, it was good, and it was really fluid how it did happen. It wasn't just like, okay, right, it's we've reached 2:30 on Saturday, let's start shooting. It just naturally sort of progressed into that, which was cool. Enjoyed that. And some of the pyrotechnics just added to it as well from Defiant. Some of the when they burnt like the meth labs or whatever they were called. I can't remember the drug. It was what we were making. Can't remember. But anyhow, ephedrine, yeah. Anyhow. So that was quite cool. It's really rich black smokes that they used as like a burning building effect, if you like. That was really cool. Yeah, it looks smart. So all good.
I've a question. You've obviously now done Red Tide as DEA and a cartel. Which did you prefer? I get obviously different locations and different weathers.
It's a tough one because I liked them both for varying reasons. I love the sort of investigative part of DEA, and sort of like trying to sort of decipher this, that, and the other, and find out who like the head of the snake is and all that sort of jazz. But then at the same time, you were out on the ground, sort of relatively light kit, very much like a cartel member. So the kit wise and that, apart from a bit of coloration and the fact you got the yellow DEA across your back or your hat, wasn't a great deal of difference in my opinion. But obviously the play style was a lot different. Being cartel, you're sort of half civ pop, half gang member. Sometimes you're fighting, sometimes you're not, and it's having that. And the good thing we had with Red Tide too was that obviously if you were displaying your team bandana, you were a naughty boy. So when that wasn't being worn, you were just sort of civ pop sort of thing, which was a good indicator, a good contact or battle indicator for DEA agents. If they did see the cartel cutting about with the bandanas on, there's a good chance that they were going to be armed. They were out for trouble, out for a ruck, which was cool. I enjoyed that. And when you got on, it's like, right, we're going bandanas on or off. They're like, on, like, yes. Put it on. Two-pack the shit out of this. But yeah, so that was cool. But I don't know if I could choose which I preferred. I don't know.
I think the next one.
I guess I'll probably edge to DEA a little bit, maybe, just because I do like the more structured of like Blue 4, if you like having like a more structured sort of like zero, your section commanders, your briefings and things like that. I do enjoy. I get a lot out of that and seeing it being done and that. It's a bit of a buzz for me doing it. Where you don't get called into an ops briefing for a sort of like a cartel and you get given targets you got to go and get. We'll have a little bit of chin wag and a chat. This is what's going to happen. I'm not saying there wasn't any briefings, because there was, and they were good. But it wasn't like the Blue 4 ones where it's a bit more regimented and things like that. You know what I mean? So, for varying reasons, I liked both. But I probably would edge toward DA a little bit. But I'd happily crack on with Cartel again. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Lance likes my structure. I like your bone structure in your cheeks from when I shaved you. The most.
That must have been the highlight. That must have been the highlight for the event, though.
To be fair, I mean, from going from him being full bearded to then me, like he's like, here you go, here's a razor or clippers, sort me out into sort of like handlebar me. I was like, okay, and I was pleasantly surprised at how good he looked. It almost annoyed me. That was like,
I was quite surprised he let you do it. To be fair,
yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm not saying you're bad at it, but I mean, I know you are. You can be a little bit cheeky in terms of hijinks and the like.
No, I know. But I thought, no, he's doing it for charity. He's doing it for us. And I mean, however, if I'd have known that he'd dropped a bollock by letting me to you about the video, if I'd known that information prior to the shave, then like I said on the other last week, it would have been a different story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very disappointed because I shaved him all. I was ready to go. Ha ha! You wait. I was like, oh, you actually look really good. Oh, that's disappointing.
It's disappointing.
Shit, that went wrong. All good.
Cool. Well, talking of that, actually, I mean, I will just come back to it in a second. But Harry says my team, the Myrmidons, were there responsible for the bread.
Oh, they were the bread guys. Oh, that was awesome. Yes, bread basket guys. Yeah, another nice wicked bit of village role play. Yeah, like that. Fair play. Oh, that's Harry's team. Nice.
So yeah, going back to obviously James shaving his beard and everything for the RBLI. I just want to make obviously reference to the Remembrance Sunday that's going to be coming up, and also obviously the 11th this week. So if you haven't had a chance already, please go out and give a bit of money if you can. Bit of donation wise, obviously I appreciate everyone's just basically given us a load of money already for sort of our raffle and charity raising for the same charity. But yeah, just a reminder really, because we're big supporters here on the show. So.
Nice, yeah.
Cool. Andy, do you want to talk about RiftSim?
Ooh, yes. Go for it.
I'd be interested to find out about this.
Yeah, so it went really well. Obviously, it was exactly the same weekend as the Defiant one, which was a little bit disappointing. But
yeah, blame the organisers for that, mate, unfortunately.
Oh, I blame both of them.
If only there was a calendar that they could all fill in and advertise their events so they didn't clash.
Oh, no. Where would you find that, Mike?
Oh, no.
It's in development because it doesn't work at the moment.
All right. Yeah, forget about that comment then.
Yeah, scratch it.
If anyone's on that, if anyone knows anything about IT, can you get in touch, because I could really do with some help.
And podcasts and doing live streams and things like that.
Specifically websites, so just be a bit of help with the website would be quite helpful if you could get in touch. Have a chat with me on Instagram at 9volt Airsoft, or get in touch at the website, or email at nofochat@hotmail.com or novemberfoxtrot.co.uk. I've just got a couple of questions. We're trying to set up an events calendar. Sorry, this is massively taking us off tangent. We're trying to set up the events calendar that we wanted to have on our website, which would allow events companies to easily fill out like a little form or collect some information, so that we can basically create like a central hub of MilSim events. Basically, I'm not even just bothered about the UK, like in the US or whatever as well, but I just need to set something up that allows people to be able to find events. And I'm struggling with it a little bit. There's really complicated ways you can do it that cost us a lot of money, which obviously we're trying to avoid because we don't generate a lot of money from the stream or the website anyway. But if anyone's able to help, that'd be grand. Please get in touch.
Yes.
Finished? Can you carry on talking about Rift?
Carry on talking now.
That's right. Help it. I don't mind helping us. Help messages. Help us.
Help.
We need advice.
We really need
an
it.
adult.
Help us, Obi-Wan. Your only hope. He wouldn't have a clue, would he, about IT? He knows a Jedi Knight, but not a Scooby, I reckon.
No, it's all about the Force, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. He just make it happen, wouldn't he? Sorry, mate, Richard.
That's right. Just
I'm going to go back to being a cat.
Go back to being a cat. I think the pirate suits you better.
Share some pirate. Do you want some pirate action whilst talking about
Yeah,
RiftSim?
we'll have some pirates action. That's it. That is a massive hat.
It's just a ridiculous hat, isn't it? You'd be the stupidest pirate in the world. Go on, fly her out. That's it. It's went into my. Oh, it's just come out of my chin again. There we go. He's back.
Right. How was RiftSim, Andy?
Yeah, so no, it was very good. We had very good numbers turn up, even though it was promising to be a very wet weekend. Only a couple of dropouts, which was nice. Lots of action on the first day. My section that I was working with managed to knock out one of the enemy vehicles almost within the first half an hour of the game getting started, and then they had to kind of talk to us because it was in our area of land, and they had to come and beg for it back. So they had to be all nicey. I got captured twice for no reason. But I had a bit of a back roll as well, a bit like Lance, where if the organisers wanted to kind of shift the gameplay in a certain direction, we got a little message saying, look, can you close this alliance down pretty quickly, which was quite fun. So you just kind of go, oh guys, I think you should really plant this bugging device on their computer while we're in their base, just to make friends with them. And then the Saturday night, me and the Marshall team, we went out and we set out night pyros and stuff. So like flares, night flares, bangs, mortars, to keep the stag guys up and awake. And then we kind of sat back and let them have their own nighttime shenanigans. They could do whatever they want, basically. So they're all.
Sorry, did someone just strum a guitar?
No.
No.
I literally just heard a brung. I'd shit you not. I just genuinely heard. No, it wouldn't be that. Yeah, sorry. It literally just sounded like someone went brung on a guitar.
Oh.
Phil?
What was that?
Oh, that was it. Yeah, what was that?
Oh, I must have knocked the springs on my new sexy arm thing.
My new guitar, which I've got just here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry, it was me. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, I got springs on the arm.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit! I just broke
mic.
it. Oh shit! Hang on. Fuck. Right, hang on. Right, no, we're back to normal.
Cat is. Just take the mic off.
So, Andy, in terms of the event, was it just like a red versus blue type affair, or was it?
No, so there was three there was three forces. There was a civilian group, which were natives to the land, and they'd from I have to remember the storyline now. So they've recently overthrown a dictatorship, and now they're trying to sort themselves out to becoming a lovely democracy, because that works well.
Always.
Just put Liz Truss in charge. So they were obviously trying to keep hold of their land, and there was a NATO force which kind of were like, oh, we'll come and help you, we know how it's done. And we'll come and help you. And then there was also a PMC force which was there to, I'm not really sure what their role was. I didn't get told their backstory line, but I think it was something to do with like natural resources and pinching stuff, and basically
that's quite the same across quite a few events, really, that you regularly get the insights to what the PMC are up to, because they're sort of hired guns essentially, aren't they? So which is quite cool. I like PMC. That's a good role.
Yeah, so they did well. Yeah, so that was the three factions, and we literally started from Saturday. We ran a little bit late on the start, which was a little bit annoying. So we started at about 12 o'clock and went all the way through to about 3 o'clock the next day. Constant. Nice. So we did tell the sections to kind of like sit back in their own FOBs while we did like some of the nighttime pyros and things like that for them to stir them up a little bit. So, but then after that, after about, I think it was about 12 o'clock, we left them to it, and they could just wander around and do whatever they wanted.
Fair play, nice.
Yeah, and it went well.
How are the vehicles as well? Because I know you said you had some vehicles.
Yeah, so we had 2 snatches. We had a.
Those are the Land Rovers. Yeah.
Yeah, not
the snatch.
not those snatches.
Don't make me sound like I'm asking a stupid question.
So we had 2 snatches, a Freelander, which was obviously for the civilians. We had a Deuce and a command vehicle.
Goose.
I've forgotten what she is. CVRT, I think it is.
Oh, CVRT, yes. Was it the Spartan one? I love a CVRT.
CVRT. Is that like a scimitar?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So the CVRT is basically like it's like a reconnaissance
it was
vehicle.
the command one.
Oh yeah, okay.
So it's the one that doesn't have the.
It doesn't have a turret or anything on it.
Yeah, it has a high back on it.
Yeah.
So that's what we, as NATO, ended up having. And what else is there? Oh, and I've forgotten what it's called. Bloody thing. It'll come to me in a minute. But it's a German truck. Panzerfaust, no?
Pinsgauer.
Pinsgauer, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one of them. Mike, Lance, you're muted.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I did say Pinsgauer, but then I realised I was having a vape and muted at the same time.
Yeah.
I was like, Mike's went,
Pinsgauer.
Pinsgauer. Fuck you, I said that. I did say it, but I was muted. So never mind.
Yeah, so they're the vehicles that we have regularly running at Rift. So yeah, we use those out for the land. But they had a good little. They weren't just. You couldn't just drive around in them. So there was fuel out in the land, and you could only move your vehicle if there was a fuel can in there. And if your vehicle gets knocked out, the fuel can can be taken by another faction. So you could only use, so you could only use your vehicle if there was a fuel can in it.
Nice.
So
With the vehicles.
Sorry,
With the vehicles allocated.
Yeah. So the vehicles were allocated to each team. So
Right.
The civvies had a snatch and the Freelander. The PMC had the Pinsgauer and a snatch. And
I think they did that at APOC at one point as well with mechanics or something.
What?
Sorry, Lance.
Yeah.
I just realised as well the parrot looks the way I look.
Does it?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Now look the other way. Look up. Down. It does, doesn't it? Oh, you've lost your hat.
Yes, that's back. Okay. Sorry, no, what I was going to say was that at an APOC event, they had a mechanic box. So if your vehicle was disabled, I think there was like 2 or 3 in the game zone that you could locate to get your vehicle back on track.
Yeah.
That's quite a cool little touch. So I like that thing with the fuel. That's good.
Yeah. So if your vehicle got knocked out, so there was they did it so there was roles within your unit. So you had like an engineer, you had a demolitions expert, you had your LMG, your snipers. But your demolitions expert was the only person that could destroy a vehicle to put it out of action.
Cool.
And the support role, so like working off of like Battlefield, was the only one that can repair it. So your engineer was your LMG gunner, and he was the only one that could repair it.
Fair play.
So that gave you a lot of tactic as well.
I do like events that have got the actual, the roles actually play into something because it always just. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen. I think FilmSim have got a thing where they've got cards that are kind of allocating like, if certain roles can do certain things. So it's making it very clear, right? You are the medic for this event, and it's got like a breakdown as to what you can do. And I think they've even got like intel cards as well. So you kind of spread the intel cards around certain members of the team. And if you get captured, it's not just a case of I've got some hypothetical information on me. You actually gain intel points from that, and then you can use those points as part of the game. So it almost turns, I guess, the role play element almost more into a board game. I guess would be.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like it's just a different way of playing it, which is quite.
It's like
interesting.
remember we discussed regarding like the medic thing. I don't know if that's what you touched on with them cards just then about having like your medic in your section's got like a deck of cards, maybe it's like 5 or 6 cards on him. With a specific sort of like injury, if you like, and it's literally rather than just going back into someone just banging a bandage around their arm, oh yeah, you're back in the game. It'd be actually right, your casualty will grab a card out, say right, you've got a lower leg injury, so it'd be a case of putting something on the lower leg, or you've got a head injury or something like that. So actually specifically dragging it out that little bit longer, rather than just being like, within 8 seconds you're back in the game. It's actually like making it more of a thing. Do you know what I mean? To be the medic role. And sort of carry out, or you could have like one of those cards would be like a critical injury where you've got to be stretchered back sort of 30 meters or something like that, which would then require your medic to deploy your stretcher, get another 3 guys, get you back, and then you're back in the game sort of thing. Put your tourniquet on once you move back. Something like that would be quite cool. I'd like to see that.
Yeah. So what we did was on the for the medic rules at RiftSim, we did it so the medic was the only person that had morphine syringes. Which were basically cocktail sticks, and he was only allowed out with 10. And once all those 10 have been broken, that's it. So you could medic one person 10 times if they're really unlucky, or you could just hold it off
their tits on morphine.
Just one guy just literally snapping morphine into him. Yeah, I'm invincible.
Yeah, just running around. But yeah, so once once that medic had used up his syringes, that was it. Your squad was out, and you had to return back, completely out of action. So
that's cool.
That was quite a good way of doing it, because instead of individually people wrapping their arm and then having to go back and your squad getting lower and lower and lower in numbers, it was literally your medic had to prioritise who they were going to medic. So there was at one point where we were in a firefight, and the LMG gunner next to me got hit like 2 or 3 times. He's the LMG gunner, and no one else is getting hit, so of course you're going to medic him. But then there was a lad further forward with a DMR, and he got hit, and he was just like, not a lot I can really, like, you're going to have to wait a minute until we sort this out. So the medic had to prioritise who he was going to look after.
That's good though. It's cool. Again, it brings another element to the game, doesn't it? That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I know we've
nicely done. Question here from Mike's best mate Dan. Could the vehicle? I'm talking. Stop it. Question from Mike's best friend Dan. Could the vehicles be attacked or have pyro thrown at them?
Yes. Basically.
That's that question. Right, next
yes
question.
To both.
Can I ask my question now?
So yes to both. So literally, you could throw pyro at them, and so you could throw pyro at them to stop them, but then to actually like put them out of action, your demo guy needed to get up to the vehicle, place the charge that he was given as a demolitions expert on the vehicle, and then you had to defend that vehicle for, I think it was 5 minutes while the bomb went off.
Okay, fair play.
And then that was it. That was out of action, and then they had to repair it.
Right. Again, was that like a 5-minute repair sort of thing? They had to hold the vehicle for 5 minutes to repair it.
So they
That's
had
cool. I like that.
a medic box, and you had to go up and you had to put the medic box into the vehicle, and then you had to wait 5 minutes for that to be, and then that vehicle could be repaired and moved on.
Fair play. Nice.
I think the with the vehicles, it would be cool if you could take them out and then capture them. I mean, I guess with certain vehicles, obviously there's driver requirements and whose vehicles they actually are, because they're not always owned by the site, and obviously there's various insurances. But it would be cool if for example, say you've got a rebel group and they take out a proper convoy and they're able to themselves kill a vehicle, bring it back to life, and then get it out of there. There's quite an interesting change of the game and role play at that point, and that they are now effectively mounted cavalry or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that sounds similar to that private event that I run up at the Woodland site with when Dave came down with his Landy and his sort of like well, FSG really, it's fire support group that you come down. So it's like him and 3 guys. You had a 50 cal, you had the 249, you had the driver, and then you had the rear gunner as well. I think there's 3 or 4 of them. And what we've done is because we had two oh, he's just bugged out. Because we had 2 factions, what we did was that we allocated. You had 5 QRF or /5 sort of like fire support group callouts, if you like, for the vehicle. So you had like a Dave. You had to set signalling flags on him, a blue and a red signalling flag, which you could put in the front of the landy. So if it was a blue 4 call out, it'd have a blue flag in there, and you'd get on the radio. I need fire support group at this grid, and I want you to hit this section of woodland, or I want you to navigate this junction and look after this patrol this junction for I think we had 15-minute call outs. So you could call it into 0, request a fire support group, or request a QRF. And if the vehicle was available, it would come out to you. If it wasn't available, or if it was on tasking for the Op4 team, which would have a red flag in it, or you'd get back on the radio, was that QRF not available at this time, and that'd be it. You have to wait out. So,
and then you get gunned down by the approaching Land Rover.
It's a good chance on my side. You're going to know that. Oh, right, okay. So the Op4 have called out a QRF or whatever it is, or it could be a legitimate reason. It's just not out there. It could be like having downtime or whatever it could be. So you had like 5. 4 or 5 sort of call outs each team was allowed to have. So what's the matter?
Andy's forgot to plug his laptop in and it's died, so he's just
I did wonder why it just went like that. So yeah, that was quite a cool touch, because it gave the radio operator another little task to do. Get QRF called in. It's having to use a map, because a lot of people, they go to, once you've done 2 or 3 events at one location, you don't necessarily need to look at a map unless Zero's requested a grid. Then you can quickly glance at it, give them the grid, but you don't need to navigate it. But whereas if you've got a call out and actually direct a fire support team or a QRF vehicle or whatever, then you actually have to use the map again. It's bringing them sort of map and compass skills into an event, which we wouldn't normally do. You could do it with drones
as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, to get like overhead, to get eyes on sort of stuff.
If you didn't, I mean, if the team itself didn't have the drone, say the drone was run by a third party operator, whoever was running the site. You could send the drone out to a grid reference, and then it would obviously allow you to gather intel specifically at that location at that time, which would be quite useful.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Nice. Well, obviously, I don't know where Andy's gone. He's plugging his laptop in. Should we do a bit of a Q&A?
Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. I'll tell you what, actually, I've got a little bit of science as well I wanted to cover, which I forgot to cover.
Go on.
It was regarding the SEO event. So what I did was I took Rage would be uber proud of me. I took my little Tranger, my little burner with me, and I tried that out. And I tried it out in the Crusader cookpot, the little base plate bit. And sadly, it didn't work. And the reason it didn't work was because where the cup sat so close to the top of so imagine if that's my open methylated spirits burner, my cup would sit right on the top, and it literally just smothered the flames. After about 5-6 seconds, it would just peter out and go out. So didn't work. Obviously, it does work because I've used it. It's wicked. It's a great bit of kit. Doesn't work with the Crusader setup. It would work, obviously, if I just put meth straight into that little circular dish at the bottom of the Crusader cup and lit that, because the cup would sit off about 1.5 inches from it. So yeah, that was a good little bit of science that obviously
just need like a spacer or something on it.
Yeah, it just needs, obviously, because where you've got the Crusader, like the base plate, it's got like a handle that folds back in on itself, which is what your actual cup would sit on over the top of the little sort of petri dish type thing in the bottom of the Crusader, where you put your solid fuel block or your bit of methylated spirit. But it also sits the Tranger stove in there nice and snug. Tranger, yes, mate. So I thought I'll be smart ass and just pop that in there, nice, keeps it snug, like a little bit of a windshield. But yeah, the cup just sat too close to it. But again, I can just use some meth spirits in there next time. Straight into the dish. But yeah, the Tranger is an awesome little bit of kit. And then I did have a bit of a brainwave with the BCB Dragon Fuel burner, because although you can put the 2 little wing guards, like you only get one with it. You can get, if you buy like you can buy them for like a couple of quid, these cookers. They're so cheap. Yeah. But you can like nick one of the wing guards out of another one and put them both sides. But you still get a lot of the flame leaking up around the cup, and it's sort of directing it at the not directing it at the base of the cup where you want it to heat. So I was thinking whether you could get some sort of like a I don't know, like a baffle that's almost a bit like a Tranger burner, where it's like a metal lid, but it's got loads of like pinprick holes around it, which sort of guides the flames up and under the cup rather than it just being like an open area for it, like an open fire where flames would just go all the way around it. If you could sort of like control the burn and slow the burn down of the Dragon fuel cell and have it coming out of like the little pinprick flame holes, if you like, just sort of sits on the top, the same sort of size as it. Maybe that could work.
The hottest part of the flame is the tip, isn't it?
See, I thought it was halfway down.
I thought it was the tip from science lessons, but I might be wrong.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna say you're wrong and I'm right, because I genuinely
all
don't.
of it's pretty hot to touch, isn't it?
That's what I mean.
So yeah, that was my thinking. I was just sort of thinking about it at work last night. I thought, I wonder if there's a way you can. I know it's open. It's just like essentially just burning like a open fire. But if you could control that Dragon fuel cell and the way the flames sort of go up and lick around the cup, whether you could keep it sort of the it is the tip. It's the tip, according to Andy. You don't count because you're not on. Disregard that comment, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I've just googled it. It's apparently the tip. So
right. I always thought it was the middle. I stand corrected. Tip. Tip. It's the tip.
Defiant said,
it's the tip of the inner flame. See, I thought it was the tip of the blue, where you got the yellow.
Yeah, but we're not talking like a gas burner type flame, is it? So the Dragon fuel, I think, would be slightly different.
It's the middle.
I don't know. Maybe we should do that as an experiment. Lance, stick your finger in the flame and tell me if it's hotter there or at the top.
Well, we'll do that, and I'll let you know. Keep you posted.
Defiant says 3 nails dug into the ground to act as a tripod support for your Crusader mug. You can then put any fuel under it, including the Trangia burner.
I've got that kit there, mate. Good little. Make sure you get the flat top nails as well, though, because otherwise you've got to file them, which is a shit. But yeah, no.
And Rage says, Lance, the Trangia needs a bit of space between the meth burner and the thing that you want it to heat.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Oh, welcome back. Hi.
It's the tip.
Hey. Well, there's
always
controversy in the chat, mate, because it's the tip of the blue flame, or is it? What's the question?
What's the answer?
So we had a question from Ed. Silly Gilly came in, and he said, I should have been able to find this quicker. Apologies. He said, related to Room 101 content from last week, has anyone in this chat ever actually seen scope glint? Not a red colour from a red dot, but a magnifying optic. So in a lot of computer games and things, if you're... Have we?
Yeah. XXX69.
Oh, no. Hang on, I'll get rid of block user. There we go.
No, don't do that. What'd you do that for? Let me get the number.
Have you ever actually come across scope glint? So it's like computer games and things like that. If you've got a sniper on a computer game that's sort of looking in your direction, it sort of provides a flash on some of the more modern games to kind of indicate that you're being sniped at.
There's a pimp in the chat. Yeah, boy.
I'm not that aware, to be honest, of my surroundings. I tend to go either shit, I've been shot, or oh my god, I'm under
shot.
Or oh my god, I'm under fire, and then I just turn around and just lace whichever direction that I think that it's coming.
Yeah.
I don't know. I suppose a sniper versus sniper would probably be able to pick things out like that. But
I mean, I've noticed scopes before. I mean, I have picked out scopes before, but never like the red holographic or the red dot in the scope, sort of like flashing. You know, if you get like on a what's the sort of word? Not horizon. If you're on the same level as what the red dot would be, it's brightest when as soon as it's slightly off center to you, it sort of dulls out. But I've never noticed that before. But I have noticed sort of scopes and things like that.
Yeah, I've only ever really noticed the shape of a weapon. So like you've got this lovely bush, and then you just see this front end of an M4, black M4 sticking out of the bush. You kind of go, "There's someone in that bush," or they've dropped their gun.
And you don't want to spoil a perfectly good bush.
No,
because for me, I love
that would be the thing that I tend to see more.
Yeah, I mean, I think from my perspective, I think the only time I've ever really seen the scope maybe give someone's position away is when you're walking through the forest or whatever like that, and you've got something perfectly camoed and ghillied and everything like that. The rifle's all perfectly ghillied, but obviously the scope is a large disc of glass, which it clearly stands out against all the other camouflage and everything like that.
It's essentially a perfectly circular black hole in amongst the green sort of backdrop in it. Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go, Ed.
You go ahead. I hope that didn't help you at all.
Terry says, I think that scope glint is more of a distance thing. And Kenny says, I do use a kill flash, but mainly for protection from BBs.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right, there's some other questions came in. Just before we go on to those, Kenny says, we used to use reactive targets stuck to vehicles. Looked like a 3-inch metal jar lid held by a magnetic holder. Sounds like a shotgun going off when it was hit.
Nice. Like that.
Yeah, I like that. That's a cool idea, doing it.
Dan says, how did your Dutch tent hold up in the rain at red tide?
Well, we was quite sneaky and clever, me and Mr. Kettles, because what we did is because we had our little porch area. So we set our Dutch Army tents up parallel to each other, and we had about probably a 2 or 3 foot gap opposite in the middle, so for the storage and that. And then we just slung a basher up, to sort of like bridge over that porch area, if you like, just to have a little bit of protection. So the toe end of the Dutch armies were exposed to the elements, but yeah, bone dry, mate, absolutely bone dry. But then I've treated my one. I'm guessing Mark's treated his as well.
Well, I think Kettle said he actually got a little bit wet, but I don't know if that was because it was coming in through the door, maybe.
Well, it could be, yeah. I mean, you've got to be careful with them. There is I think it's the older model. I think you can get the newer type. They've sorted the zips out where it zips open into the corners. They've got rid of that gap there now. But I mean, you could essentially just put a little bit of duct tape over there. It's not the biggest hole in the world, but obviously water would get in it. Or stitch on a bit of waterproof material just to hang down over that zip. But yeah, other than that, and another thing with them as well, it's making sure when you set them up, is make sure that they're nice and rigid. Don't let them sag, because that's where the water can just sort of collect and eventually sort of seep through. It needs to be nice and taut, and it needs to be sort of like, not like drum skin taut, but like, it's a strong tent. Do you know what I mean? You can put it through its paces. But for me, it's the built-in ground sheet. I mean, it's thick as you like. It's like cowhide. I mean, I've been on there's a lot of flint at Apocalypse. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of jagged rock just subsurface. So you can only clear so much of it before it's, you've dug yourself a trench. You might as well just sleep in that to get rid of all of it. But it is so robust. I mean, it is, and the other good thing is because of the material it's made out of, I can see it being really, really easy to repair, just like a patch and some resin or a really good bit of glue. If you did get like a pinprick hole in it, or you spiked it with a peg or something like that, something sharp went through the base of it, it'd be a nice, easy repair to do. And because of the material, it's so strong and sort of hardy. That's what I love about it. And the fact they're so cheap, like 25 quid for one of them. I mean, you literally cannot go wrong. They are a wicked bit of kit. Well, yeah, I do recommend them. But do look after them.
I guess if you've got a basher or anything with you anyway, I mean, you wouldn't need a massive basher. But, if you sling that over the top, if it does get wet, at least then you haven't got to deal with a soppy wet tent.
Exactly, yeah, for sure.
I mean, obviously tents provide more protection than just rain protection. So obviously, you're generally warmer in a tent than you probably would be in a basher. It obviously gives you a little bit more of an enclosed space. If you're at an event where, iPro, certain times it's got to be worn like the whole way through. Obviously, a tent gives you a little bit more of ability to actually seal yourself away.
Yeah, that's the great thing. I mean, that's what I like about it. I mean, especially using it in sort of like an area where you are going to get contacted in that. I mean, from previous events where you've had your DD tarp go up in flames, Mike. They're a very hardy. I'm not saying they're flame proof or fire retardant, but they would take a lot to get them going, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? They are a good, strong material. And like you said about the iPro, it's nice to be able to get yourself in there, get your little light on, zip up the doors, zip up everything, and just be able to just ditch your glasses for a sec, give them a clean up, and just think, oh, blimey, that's better. Refocus, pop them back on, sort of thing. And I mean, my tent. I mean, I had it set up there. I had my sleep system in there. I had my gun bag in there down one side. I had my chest rig in there. I had my 2 backpacks. So one which is my civvy backpack, which just comes with me everywhere. And I didn't want to leave it in the truck down in the car park, so I just tucked that in the tent. And obviously, I had my day sack for taking out with bits and bobs in for the event. So it's roomy. Do you know what I mean? If you sort yourself out nice, you can sleep over to one side, and then you've got probably a foot maybe down all the way down one edge, and then you're not going to be the full length of that. Well, I certainly aren't. And you've got, but again, a couple of foot at the end there. You can easily store. I mean, I've had it with my gun bag. I've had my Bergen in there before, and it's been more comfortable for me. So yeah, they're a good bit of kit. I think Leslie used his at the SEO event and he was very happy with it. So yeah, I do recommend them. They're good.
Cool. Marky Mark says best wire type to use for a tripwire.
I would use either pike line for pike fishing, braid. You want something that doesn't stretch, basically.
Yeah.
Something that don't stretch.
That comms cord would work quite well.
Yeah. If you go to Dragon Supplies, you can get yourself some comms cord. That's not very stretchy at all. I've got that on my, which isn't to hand, unfortunately.
How visible is that though? Like,
It's
how
just
well
like
does it
OD green,
hide
mate. It's just dark green. Obviously, it's
that?
if it's on a clay road or something like that, you're going to notice it. You know, you have to weigh off the. It's either that or if you get the fluorocarbon fishing line. If you get like an 18-20 pound breaking strain fluorocarbon fishing line, that doesn't reflect light. It lets light travel through it, and that's really hard to spot. But again, it's got a little bit of stretch to it. But if you can set your tripwire up on like a hair trigger, then the stretch isn't going to come into it too much. It's when you've got to have something that's really got a bit of a tug to it, like a pin to pull. That's when you want it to be as least stretchy as possible. But yeah, the Dragon Supplies, go to Dragon Supplies and look for their comms cord, or get some fluorocarbon fishing line, sort of 20 pound breaking strain.
That's not expensive.
No,
most fishing shops have that now, don't they? It used to be.
You'd be able to get anywhere. You can get it on Amazon. You can next day on Amazon, stuff like that. Yeah, that's what I use. I've got some fluorocarbon fishing line for pike fishing for your tracer and all that sort of thing, which I use. So yeah.
Kenny recommends Dyneema braid as well.
Yeah, Dyneema braid. Yeah, braid's good, mate. Yeah, and basically anything that doesn't stretch or it's got minimal stretch to it. Yeah, which is cool.
I think the one thing to just remind people is obviously just don't leave it out. You know, if you're playing in woodlands or anything like that, just get all the shit back in, because you know I have been to an event and there's been fishing line everywhere where someone's tried to.
Well, even when I go fishing at lakes, the amount of line that I bag up, that's just asking for, like, you know, the amount of, you know, the wildlife we're getting over here now. You know, otters are sort of coming back and out. It's only got to take someone to get snagged up get an otter snagged up in fishing line and that, and it'd just be like a ban on it or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's easy. I mean, I've found bundles of it, like bundles and bundles of fishing line when I've been fishing to lakes and stuff like that for a weekend and just bagged it up, taking it home. So it's just laziness, absolute laziness. But there we go. Some people you just can't teach them.
No.
Take your shit home.
Fluorocarbon. Use the crap strap. Fluorocarbon has a similar reflective index to water. It'll only be near invisible if it's flooded. Apparently.
Oh yes.
Which, to be fair, at a lot of events recently, that's probably going to be okay. So
that'll be fine. Underwater tripwires.
I would like to see more use of tripwires and stuff like that, and like, I'd love to go to an event that's actually got a proper minefield.
It's a bit strong, isn't it?
No, but you know the you can get the airsoft.
Narrow down the MilSim players.
Yeah.
No, but you can get.
I went to Mike events and lost a leg.
Make it through here unscathed, you and me take part.
No, but it would be cool if you can buy obviously airsoft mines. I think I can't remember the name of the product, but there's something that you sort of you put a foot on and it almost throws something up in the air and then starts spinning around and shooting out BBs. It would just be cool to have that sort of element at an event, you know, rather than a minefield being an area you can't traverse in, because normally they're used for sort of out of bounds areas and the like. It would just be quite a quirky addition to an event, but obviously I appreciate that there's a lot of complexities to that.
Yeah. Our reenactment group had used to have ones that they were probably half a foot in size, and you screwed a CO2 canister into it, and when you push your foot down, obviously it burst the CO2 seal, and there was two points where it just throw the dirt up next to you. It made quite a pop, and you were covered in crap, and
That's
you kind
cool.
of knew. Yeah, you kind of knew. Oh yeah, I've just set that off.
What?
They were about that big. Yeah, they were about that big.
Is it one of those?
Yeah, something similar to that,
Yeah.
but a lot thinner. Almost similar to the one with the green one in the bloke's hand. That one, similar to that. That sort of size.
Well, these are, funnily enough, one of the bouncing airsoft mines. So they pop up out of the ground, start spinning around and start firing BBs out. But obviously it's a lot more visible because you've got a canister sitting on the ground there. yeah, it'd just be an interesting additional facet to a game, really. You know, if you've got a proper area that you can potentially traverse through, but it's going to run the risk of wiping your team out. It's an added risk.
It also depends if site owners will let you dig a minefield.
Yeah,
that's true. Well, the ones we had for that Taliban event we did at APOC a few years back, Mike.
Yeah, that worked well.
Basically, they were. I sourced them online, and they were what's used in sort of like retirement homes and that. If people like falling out of beds at night time, so it's basically
bang.
The trigger essentially is that. So you'd have like a rug next to their bed or something like that, and it's got like a posi and neggy. As soon as the two pads touch together, it set an alarm off, and that's basically what we use. So you had like a pressure plate. You could bury it under in the road or in a pathway. It's in a watertight bag with a deck cord running off of it, so you could run a deck cord out to as like a sort of like a fakie, and then you've got like the actual detonator device itself on another cord going the other way. So you'd actually, like, if someone did detect a mine or something, you'd have to sort of scrape the dirt away. Right, got a line there, tracking that out. You could have you could be 40 meters away. You could be a guy hiding in the bush, just waiting to to detonate things like that, which made it really cool. It was a really cool element to use.
Yeah, that's
really versatile. You could have the lead as long as you liked. You run it off a 9-volt battery. Worked perfectly.
I mean, that again, you know, you could have that sort of doorbell style alarm, which runs off and just presumably, I mean, I don't know what the power generation of it would be, but if you could set it up to ignite some sort of small pyro charge or something like that, that'd be quite a quirky thing to deal with.
Yeah, that's easily done. Just a very, very fine, very, very thin gauge wire that can't handle the voltage, and it'll just eventually heat up and burn. Just that'll strike your fuse in. Yeah, very simple.
Don't worry, Dan. I was just going to say we're keeping an eye on him.
Slave market search.
Slave market search tells an real minefield. Yeah.
Oh, hang on.
Defiant also said, "I'll spend the money and buy a minefield if you supply the searchlight and watchtower."
Oh, that's
still yet to find a decent...
Is there any preference on any like specifically size of the searchlight or watchtower, or is it as long as we do supply those two things?
Hang on.
I've still been trying to find a decent.
It's got watchtowers, isn't it?
Can I do this? Hang on. Share screen. Can I do this?
No.
Oh yes, you can.
That's the slave driver from
Mad Max.
Mad Max.
Yeah,
that's little Mike sitting on.
That's me and Lance.
Mike sitting on Lance's shoulder.
Oh dear. Yeah, I mean, you know, I've still been trying to find a search of like a proper decent searchlight for stag duty. That I want something that's got a proper high throw but a tight concentration of beam.
You want a hunting light then, mate? Sort of like a vehicle mounted hunting light. Like with the
yeah, but I don't want it vehicle mounted. That's the thing. I want something like properly that I think I carry.
No, don't want a vehicle.
I know, but a lot of the vehicle mounted lights require a bigger battery. That's what I'm suggesting. It would be cool if you could find a sort of a more portable option. But yeah.
Well, you can't, so tough shit.
Yeah, I know.
Why don't you
Kenny says
buy a lot of smaller lights and just sellotape them together?
Run them all in parallel.
Essential piece of MilSim kit. Sellotape, not electrical tape or duct tape,
or gaffer tape or anything like that.
Sellotape. Yeah, present sellotape. That's what we want.
I've got my magic Scotch tape.
Yeah.
You just hear Mike in the dead of night.
Kenny says he wants to make a CO2 powered Claymore, like a rectangular 40 mic. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I mean, the only problem with a lot of these products that obviously you make yourself is that sometimes sites don't allow them. But just something to bear in mind. Hi, Padraig. Welcome.
Party pooper.
Padraig. Off to Octo 8 this weekend, I believe.
That's a bit of a shame, that one. I don't know if you've seen, they've had to... Bye, Andy.
Charge his camera.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know one of the teams for Octo, they couldn't fill it up, so they've had to disband the sort of JTF
it was the
faction.
JTF faction, yeah, which is a bit surprising. Yeah. I thought that'd be sort of like it's usually one of the first to get full up. But yeah, it looks like the tide's turned. There's nothing wrong with that though. I think they still have a cracking event. They've still got the Phoenix PMC boys. The old faces are all still cracking on with it, so that'd be good. It's a shame I can't make it, but I think I've done 3 events and well, 2 events in the last 3 weeks. So I've been pushing my luck a little bit. I mean.
Operation Doghouse.
Operation, oh shit.
Dan says at Sterling, some of the guys had made bar mines to stop vehicles. I don't know what a bar mine is.
I'm guessing it's a bar mine.
Thanks, Lars.
It's a lengthy mine, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, it's a large rectangular British anti-tank landmine. Apparently. There you go. Well done.
Thank you. Points to me. Then points
Kenny
to
says
Gryffindor.
good mines can be made with plumbing parts.
Not real mines, Ken. Come on. This is Airsoft, mate. This is
Padraig says, anyone off to Octo 8 this weekend? If so, I'll see you there.
Sadly not, mate, but give him
Unfortunately
hell,
not.
brother, from me.
I'm having a weekend off this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm
Harry
out
says,
with turkey food. Not with Mike. Just want to put that
with
out
my
there.
brother.
No, not your brother either. That will happen. That will happen.
Harry says, I set up a searchlight at our Halloween game. It may make a regular appearance in the village. Was a China rotating disco light, mega bright. Oh, okay, that's
China
interesting.
rotating disco light. Fair play.
I just think it just again it's that kind of that classic, you know, a lot of the what?
No, I was hoping it's when you say, you know, it harks back to that classic. It's the classic.
No. Like, you know,
non bread. Don't you say the N-word, no.
You know, when you're attacking a fob or like a fixed position or whatever like that, a lot of times it tends to be the occasional torch that gets turned on to kind of shine around or anything like that. It would be quite cool. I know that there was, it was funnily enough, one of the APOC events that we went to, I think it was probably one of the first or second that you and I went to, Lance, where they actually had like a generator set up in the stockade. So they had floodlights and things on there, and you know, if you were in the stockade, you couldn't be seen from the outside because the floodlights were just making sure that you weren't lit up at all.
That's what Defiant boys had at this event. I'm not sure they had a Jenny going for them, but they did have some wicked searchlights. All 4 sangers had them in, and they were bright as fuck. So they did literally illuminate the entire woodland perimeter of that fob. So us looking in, it was difficult to sort of PID or any silhouette or any shadowing because you just had the white light and they were all obviously tucked behind it, which just worked wonders for them, which is good. So that's when you turn the thermal on. Hello.
Defiant said Mike just wants to be a travelling lighthouse keeper. Yes, I do.
Yeah. With his lighthouse in the middle of a minefield, with his watchtowers and spotlights everywhere.
I don't want the enemy getting to me.
As soon as someone gets toward near the minefield, it's like Mike's like, "You're near the minefield. Go away. Big spotlight. On you. Go away."
Kenny says, "Have you got the mini or normal Challenger, Lance?"
Oh, Rage. What have I got? I didn't take the full train.
I'd like the idea that you've got the mini and the normal one's like that big or something.
It was a mini one when Rage had it. Then when he passed it to me, it's like Dennis Waterman,
full size.
Ooh, thanks, Rage. Barking this.
That's normal.
Yeah, normal size Transit. But I didn't take the full Transit kit. All I took was the little brass Meths burner out of it, mate, for my science. But yes, I shall persevere with that. I am going to make the ultimate cooking set. Cooking thing. Yeah, lots of ideas. None of them are going to work, but it's, nice to keep busy, isn't it?
Lance's food truck.
Yeah, Lance's food truck. Oh, what about that? Yeah, you could just use that trailer that I posted.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome. What's that, $5,500?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
for
bad,
Mike,
really, is it?
where Mike keep all his drum mags in for his skirmish days.
Yeah.
I have one.
I have one.
That's all I need is 1,200 rounds.
In one of them. I've got the other 4 in a day sack.
Marky Mark says solar security PR light. I have one in my back garden. Works well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if anyone does need trace batteries and that for 12 volts and things like that, a really good company to use is Tracer, Tracer. Tracer batteries. They're a very good brand. Sort of golf cart size. Sort of, they are carryable. They're not stupidly heavy. If you did want to run some fob lighting without a generator and noise and stuff like that, you should get a good few hours out of one of them. If you've got a kill switch for it as well, so you can click it on and off.
again, I mean that was Red Tide 1. I know there was the generator there that was obviously running a lot of the lighting in the fob. I actually quite liked the fact that there was a generator. I know that it was annoying because we were camped next to it, so I get that. But it was quite hard as a sentry, or if you're on stag or anything like that, to be able to kind of drown that out and focus on the fact that obviously you can't hear the forest.
Yeah, but it's also nice because I couldn't hear your snoring either. So
yeah. Oh, you can talk. I'm sorry, SEO event.
I was a very tired boy. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus,
says
Mike likes to. You like to listen to the trees, don't you, mate?
I like to listen to the trees
as they talk to you.
I know. Les says love the Dutch Army tent, and that again is down to you guys. So,
welcome.
Good, Tim. And Harry says I have a Searchlight and Alien style motion tracking turret sentry gun on the works.
Of course you do, Harry.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't
I still
you?
haven't seen the downed UAV. I want to see the downed UAV.
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah.
That was a cool project.
Yeah, nice.
So, I imagine Harry's garden is just full of like tech.
I reckon Harry's garden's a fucking death trap to walk into. That's what I reckon. In fact,
If
I
anyone-
stepped on his driveway.
If anyone's got an actual minefield in their garden, it'll be Harry.
Very small, like ones.
Break into my house, will you?
Yeah, just not the cat shitting on his flower beds, just like anti-cat mines.
And Marky Mark's currently looking into making an IED using a pressure pad from those bedside alarms using a Mark V and electric firework igniter.
Yeah, that'll
There you
work.
go.
Super easy, mate. Super easy.
Yeah.
Those, absolute piece of piss.
It'd be cool as well if you could make that at the event, because obviously again you have these bomb
labs,
factories
bomb
that you go and
making.
find and stuff like that. It'd be cool if you actually had to make the mines there. That'd be cool. Cool.
Lots going on at this event, haven't we, Mike? Minefields and bomb shops and
Yeah, I know. Very.
God, blimey.
I told you we need to organise an event. Defiant, we'll have a chat.
We don't need to now, because we just put all our ideas out there for the world to hear, don't we?
Yeah,
You can have them for free.
I would quite like to try running an event, but we can't obviously get the insurance and stuff because we don't have the money and the behind us. So if there are any events companies, wink wink Defiant, if you want to have a chat about whether we could do like a collab on one, that'd be quite cool. Just to try out some of our ideas.
Well, we've got our event, haven't we? We've got our event which we're going to do one day. That event.
Yeah.
Which we do not speak.
Defiant events as I have insurance.
That's good to know.
We'll have to have a chat.
Talk to me.
Yeah.
I have insurance now.
Now, yeah.
By the way,
After last week, weekend, I thought I better get it.
Yeah, that bloody lightning, God.
Right, it's time for one more question, so I'll let the people throw that in the chat. Next week, we're going to be talking about prepping kit for winter events. Obviously,
Kit. Love kit.
January, February, Christmas, December, all of that is going to be fairly wet, cold, and wintry. So,
Oh yeah, January, February, Christmas, December. Yeah.
Yeah,
In that
the last
order.
couple of months.
I was working forward from January, and then I was like, oh wait, we're still in November, so I started working back again.
January, February, spring, summer, autumn, Christmas. That's
Christmas, yeah.
So basically, we're going to be talking about that next week, cold weather kit and the like. If you want to get in touch with us in the meantime, if you've got any ideas for episodes or anything like that, we're going to be planning our next big batch of episodes and the like. So if you've got ideas, if there's anyone you want us to interview, have a chat with, get on the show, replace us with if you really want to, or anything like that. Well, we had vaguely discussed having a partners episode where we were going to get like the wags of Airsoft, but I don't know how that would work because someone needs to run the stream.
My missus would just get pissed up.
That's all right. That's all right. We can do that.
Start shouting at people down the screen.
After you getting all angry, is she? With the
If you want to get in touch with us, you can do so at nofochat@hotmail.com. Our Instagram is @November_Foxtrot_NoFo, and the website is novemberfoxtrot.co.uk. Again, if you've got any ideas for things that we can add to the website, let us know. Obviously, 2023 is coming up. We've got some ideas of how we want to improve for 2023, but we obviously, we're a community. We want to take your ideas on board, so let us know. It'd be cool.
Yes, more parrots.
Plus, we used all our brain.
Oh, we want to
to
write. Actually, I tell you what, Fresh Meat in the chat there. I want to write up on his event he went to recently.
Oh, he sent me one.
Did he really? Oh,
Yeah, he
right.
did.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Apparently, it was very wet. It took them a whole day to get there, and it was very wet. But from what it sounds like, it was very good.
That's cool. That's what we like to hear.
So, yeah. Thanks for the show. No worries, Jason. Thank you for coming.
Like Mikey's lawn from the Goonies. Yes, Kenny. Yes, that's absolutely what. That's what Harry's lawn's like.
Yeah.
Site maps would be.
And I bet actually
he
he would actually make me stand outside his gate and do the truffle shuffle if we're entering Harry's garden with my large pirate hat on.
That's so big.
Right, I can't see any other questions coming in.
So
So we'll probably call it a day.
Was there any episodes a few weeks ago? Thanks for the show. As all Wags never Defiant Widows WhatsApp group. Oh, Wags
Mike,
Defiant Widows.
Did I miss the shout out for that other one?
Yes, you did. We spoke about Flo from Wales.
Flo's been mentioned, mate. Flo that you met at the kebab shack has been
At the
mentioned.
kebab shack.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Legend.
Only reason.
Here we go. Last question from Rage. Will I regret ordering a Dutch Army tent? What's the weight of them, as I couldn't find that? They are not a light tent.
They're not. I don't think there's much difference between them and the Polish Lavu Rage. If you use one of them, like the Polish poncho tents, mate, I don't find them very heavy at all. To be fair, I mean, obviously there is a lot lighter out there. I mean, like a Basher, for example, weighs nothing. There is a little bit of weight to it, but it's certainly nothing. I go, Christ, that's really heavy. Do you know what I mean? I will stick it on the old fishing. Where's my fishing scales? They're up there. I think I've got one up here. I'll stick it on the scales, mate, and I'll WhatsApp you how much it weighs in a sec. But I've got a couple of additional pegs, so it might be a little bit heavier than the originals with their normal pegs in it.
I've been flirting with the idea of purchasing a DD pyramid tent.
Oh yeah,
because the DD tarps and the like are obviously like super lightweight. And I thought it might be an interesting idea to have something like this that obviously you can throw up. It doesn't come with an internal or anything like that, so you can effectively just throw like a ground.
But you can make
down.
that, mate. You can make that configuration with a.
No, I know you can. I know you can make that. Yeah, I know you
tarp.
can make that with a basher, but obviously that's just like a pre-formed one. So you could, for example, it potentially just a bit quicker. But I appreciate that, a standard basher is obviously a lot more versatile because you don't have to have that configuration, whereas with that one you do. But I thought that would be quite an interesting little sort of setup for when you're out and about.
While you're talking.
And you can basically throw some kit up. You could use it to sleep in if you needed to.
So you got that one had an inner.
So you can get a separate inner as well. So that's just the external.
Interactive podcasting.
And then the inner comes as like a little separate mesh internal.
Oh, right.
So that adds like the bug proofing element as well.
The bug protection.
Yeah, if anyone's had one of those, I'd be interested to hear if they're any good.
Do you know what? I just put my mouse over the screen to try and scroll down. I can't. It's on your computer. What's that? Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, here you go. Life Science.
That there, my son, is 13.5 pounds. 13.5 pounds, because that's my fishing scale, so they're very, very expensive, so I can rely on them. 13.5 pounds, whatever that is in kilo, mate. I'd say 2.5 or 3 kilos, maybe. Feels like it.
6.
Nice.
Oh, right, I was way out. God, so I've been to the gym. 6 kilos, mate.
Yeah.
That's nothing for Rage.
No.
It's like his pillow.
But you can buy lighter tents.
There is lighter tents out there, but they're not a Dutch Army tent. There's the nostalgia, and you get free surplus potpourri. That smell is just.
We need to somehow bottle that. That would be an excellent thing.
Odor surplus. We always spoke about it. That's an old odor surplus. Yeah. I reckon you just shred a shit ton of old shirts, DPM shirts up, and just in a bowl.
Yeah.
In the lounge. Lovely.
To give you an idea, that comparison, that DD pyramid tent we were just looking at weighs 670 grams. So it's 10 times less heavy. Boring. But it's a good point that Defiant made, and can't wait to see a grenade give you a nice Velux roof window in that DD tent, because the DD tents they are quite susceptible to heat.
I reckon the steam of a hot cup of tea would go through one of them.
Yeah.
I don't think they're not that bad, but yeah. The barbecue that we put next to it at Red Tide 1 definitely went through it, so
Yeah.
it didn't cope well. But
The smolder.
cool. Right. We'll see you all next week. Stay NoFo. Have a good weekend. Say goodbye, guys.
That's it.
Goodbye, guys.
Bye then. All right. Bye.
He's rude, isn't he?
He's had enough, isn't he? He was like,
I'm
right,
sorry.
enough. Bye.
Gentlemen, would you like to make your excuses for us to leave?
Oh, no, he's
I need to get a jingle.
a jingle. You could play a jingle for him, Mike.
So is that the end of the show? Can I
is.
shuffle my papers?
Shuffle your papers.
Oh, God, it loops. Right, we'll see you all
Right,
next
right.
week. Have a good weekend.
Stay NoFo, guys.
Stay in NoFo. Ciao,
See you
Bella.
later.
I want showers, minefields, naan breads. I didn't say.